everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. We're back again with more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Let's get into it. We just cleared out his inventory, and now we can go back to have a regular conversation. We also found out that he was responsible for kidnapping Sosiel's brother. So, let's see. Show me the ones you're selling.
I'm selling death itself. Death lurks in my gladiators' hands and in their eyes. They can kill so swiftly, you will not even see them strike. They can kill so slowly, their opponent's death makes the spectators shiver in ecstasy. And they embrace their own deaths with such dignity that their names soar from the lips of the crowd into the dark sky, straight into the hands of merciful death.
The gladiators, a mix of all races and ages, do indeed look tough and dangerous. Their powerful bodies, bloodthirsty gazes, and deft yet casual grips on their weapons show them to be true masters of their art. They resemble a pack of predators at rest before a bloody hunt, where they will rip, tear, and gut their prey. The glances they exchange are amiable but not warm, for tomorrow each may have to kill the other in front of the screaming crowd. There is glory to be gained by fighting in the arena, you say?
It certainly is. The gladiator fights are the most popular entertainment here in Shinra. There's no better way to acquire fame and glory than to step into the battle bliss and take another's life.
If your slaves are that good in a fight, why don't they rebel and free themselves?
The arena is their home. The other gladiators their family, and the fight's their sole purpose in life. Fighting is their only path to glory and a carefree life of luxury. But to win in the arena, you need a distinguished and influential master who will provide you with an experienced trainer, good weapons, decent food, and skillful lovers to salve your wounds. But would such a distinguished and influential demon take on just any no-name wannabe? Of course not. That's why when a demon wishes to purchase a gladiator for the arena, they come to me. And the best fighters pay enormous sums to become my slaves and trainees, on their only hope of making it to the top.
I'm looking for slaves for the gladiator fights in the arena.
I'm selling death itself. Death lurks in my gladiators' hands and in their eyes. They can kill so swiftly, you will not even see them strike. They can kill so slowly, their opponent's death makes the spectators shiver in ecstasy. And they embrace their own deaths with such dignity that their names soar from the lips of the crowd into the dark sky, straight into the hand of merciful death.
The gladiators, a mix of all... Oh, wait. Yeah, we already saw that. I'll buy your gladiators. Smiling at the gladiators' bellowing battle cry, the slaver examines you with a sharp look. The straps of the mask tighten slightly, making the skin wrinkle. Finally, he nods.
You look genuine. You are a killer. I suppose I can sell you my gladiators. 35,000 gold coins for the 35,000 enemies they'll kill in your honor in the arena.
Pay 35,000 gold coins. Deal. The gladiators bow before you with dignity. Their faces shine with bloodthirsty smiles. Where would you like us to go? To the battle bliss, I presume? Actually, alright, we're not doing this for good reasons. This is one of the few times I'm actually going to be a little meta. I know that at the end of this act, there's a huge fight that determines what happens with your camp. It is extremely helpful to have battlers there who are going to help to defend your camp. So, this is, again, one of those rare times where I'm going to make a choice based on knowing what's coming. So I'm going to choose good. Explain to the gladiators how to get to the Nexus. Wait for me there. The gladiators look at you with surprise, exchanging whispers among themselves. Master, do you doubt our fighting skills? Would you like us to continue training in your camp, under your supervision? Believe us, we're ready to conquer the arena. We'll prove ourselves worthy. Brothers and sisters, grab your weapons. Head to the camp of our new master. Double time, in full gear. If anyone falls behind, kill them. Death to the weak! Ooh. A conversation with Camellia. Know what she wants. Alright, now that we've done that, let's talk to him again. Who are you?
I am Warlord, Black Mask. I was a champion of the arena and I fought and killed in the name of my mistress, Chimera. I worshipped her. I was her slave and her bodyguard. She was flattered by the many killings dedicated to her honor and by the shouts of the crowd chanting her name. But then I had a dark revelation. I realized Chimera was not worthy of my worship. She owned me, but my true mistress was the one that entered the arena with me, her hand in mine. Death. So I dedicated my next victim to her instead of Chimera. My mistress was enraged. She arranged a fight in the arena, one I had no hope of winning. I was hacked and cut, torn apart, choked, ground to dust by magic and impaled on spears. But still, I did not die. My remains were stitched back together piece by piece. Death was with me that day, and I returned even more powerful. But the fight lost their appeal after that. An immortal gains no glory fighting mortals. So I left the arena, and I'm no longer killed by my own hand. Now I offer my gifts to death by the hands of the gladiators I train. I take their names and their dreams, and, in return, I give them weapons and the dark revelation of death.
What is this mask you wear?
The first champion fought wearing this mask. The final champion will fight wearing it on the day that this world ceases to exist. In this mask I was invincible, and I conquered the battle bliss and made all out in Shinra bow before me. I thought to pass it to Gelderfang, my apprentice, but despite his many talents in the art of killing, he loved his life far too much. He was afraid of death, too frightened to fight me and take the mask. He is not a true gladiator, not a real champion, but no one, aside from the true children of the arena, is capable of understanding this.
This mask is strikingly different from the ones we're looking for to solve the riddles in the Nameless Ruins. Still, it's unique. I would like to examine it. Honored Demon, hand it over immediately for an experiment. I promise to try not to break it.
No.
Please?
No.
I'll mention your name in my encyclopedia.
Over my dead body.
Fine. Nanio turns to look at you, expectation in her eyes. The Lich is amused. Attack the demon. I'm doing this for science.
I am a gladiator. When I see death coming, I do not flee. I kiss her dry lips with passion. The arena is eternal, and thus we are also eternal. Kill me, and you will be able to wear this mask.
This will be quick.
All your homeboys are gone? I'm so sorry for you, bro. Oh, this is another way to get. Oh, hey, and they gave me 35,000 back. Just as a FYI, you can't kill him and get access to all of his inventory. So, I wish, but it doesn't work that way. All right, so we got a buckler +4. Oh, that might actually be good for me. Mystic Grace. This looks like a 2 armor. This +3 leather armor is made from very light, delicate leather, increasing the max dexterity bonus by 1 and decreasing arcane spell failure chance by 10%. It also grants the wielder a +2 bonus on caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. Natural armor +2, ring of protection +2, cloak of resistance +2. Not bad. Camellia, does this buckler help you? Why, yes it does. Take it. Oh, and cloak. Is there a +6? No, it's +5. What are you wearing? +4, you're good. You +2. +3 helps you. You don't need it. You don't need it. You kind of need it, but not really. Okay. Now, let's see about that mask. Warlong's lifeless body lies at your feet. A bloody mist rises from his wounds. It is impossible to survive such wounds, yet you hear a voice coming from beneath the obsidian mask.
Didn't I tell you I am immortal? You killed this body, but I am still here, right in front of you.
The mask grins and winks at you. It looks like an ordinary mask, but is it really? Let's conduct an experiment. Nanio carefully examines the mask on the face of the dead demon. Smells of decomposing flesh, quite specific. Tastes like rotten meat.
Oh! What are you doing, you stupid creature? Take your tongue out of my eye socket immediately!
Utterly repulsive. Camellia shudders with disgust. For future reference, do not come near me, do not talk to me, and do not even breathe the same air as me. Nanio wipes her mouth with her hand. Here's my verdict. This is an ordinary mask that contains an evil spirit with a tendency to mentally subjugate any person who wears it. The experiment is concluded. Thank you for your attention, everyone. Are you a mask? A living mask? So it was you I've been talking to all this time? I am the first champion of the Battle Bliss, the great warrior and necromancer Warlong. No one could say how many victories I won because they stopped keeping count. I was belligerent and bloodthirsty, and my gifts impressed death herself. So when my luck turned away from me and my life was bleeding out in the arena, death gave me a gift. She placed my spirit in this mask. So, under different names, I have claimed the champion's title again and again. Is this your body? Of course not. My mortal remains have long since turned to dust and black sludge. This body once belonged to one of my followers. A couple of decades ago, the gladiator wearing my mask perished and I took his body. My magic has kept the flesh in good condition all these years. Sadly, you destroyed this body beyond repair, and now I must find a new vessel. Requires Lich, mythic path. Sense the soul that hides within the mask. From the black, polished stone, a restless, spiteful, and bloodthirsty soul glares suspiciously back at you. It is skilled enough in the art of puppetry to manipulate the bodies and mouths of those who once wore this mask. You can see the dozens, perhaps hundreds, of faces of those who wore this mask and gave their bodies to the ghost, willingly or not. Evil requires Lich, mythic path. Subjugate the lesser undead who dared to show you disrespect. The mask is in your hand, and you feel the black polished stone heat under your fingers until it starts glowing white. This doesn't cause you any pain, but the ghost dwelling within the mask starts howling wildly. You are the master of death. You are her lover, and you are more precious to her than anyone else. Forgive me. I had no idea. Spare me, and I will serve you. I swear. Let's see what that means. The wearer of this mask gets a +10 competence bonus on intimidation and mobility skill checks. In addition, whenever the wearer of this mask lands a killing blow, they gain temporary hit points equal to the killed enemy's strength modifier for 5 rounds. Oh yeah, he definitely doesn't want that. Yeah, fortunately it's not all that used for any of us, but hey, we got it. Oh, you don't have the helmet? Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, take that. You can have that. Awesome. All right, moving right along. All these ways to get a gold, to get the flesh market coin is a change, by the way. Like it used to be, it was hard as hell. I think the only way to get it was to kill him or to absolutely say you're 100% down for slavery and he would give it to you out of respect. The eyes of the translucent Marilyn carefully observe her surroundings. It seems this is not merely an image, but a projection of the creature's consciousness, while her physical body is located somewhere far from here. Next to the Marla fidgets a shriveled mandrake, which utters the occasional displeased shriek. Ah, a visitor from another plane. I am Ramisa, also known as Loud Skin, and I am no simple vendor, but a true artist of the slave trade. My warehouse is currently stand empty, but we can always arrange for a custom order. What would you like to acquire? Perhaps your enemy's son or daughter, bound by magic and powerless in the face of anything you might wish to do to them? An attractive person who once dared reject you? The little brat who bullied you as a child? Alan Shinra is the city where all your dreams come true. The Marilyn licks her lips, especially if they are dirty, bloody, and sweet dreams of possession or revenge. Camellia echoes the words of the demoness in a pensive voice. You can order anyone you want and make your bloodthirsty dreams come true. I bet many cannot resist such a temptation. It is truly terrible. Sosiel nods encouragingly at Camellia. Facing such evil can shock even a seasoned veteran, let alone a sheltered young woman such as yourself. Good Lord, Sosiel. You ain't picked up on it yet, bruh? Wow. But I promise that we will get out of this terrible place and return home, all of us. Oh, you're killing me, brother. You're killing me. Yes, of course. Thank you for the comforting words, Sosiel. I am indeed shocked by the monstrous ways of the abyss. I need gladiator slaves. That is not my area. I grew tired of the battle bliss. I used to work with them, and rather often at that. I'd arrange for siblings, lovers, or a parent and child to battle in the arena. My best scenarios in this vein have already been staged to great acclaim, and I've yet to devise new ones. Come and ask me again in 50 years or so. What do you mean by artist of the slave trade? While others trade for material gain, I do it for art. Unlike others, I am not involved in the faceless shipment of goods. Each slave who passes through my hands has a personality. Each sale is a spiritual experience. Not long ago, I sent my hunters to track down and capture a brave rebel fighting for the freedom of his people. And then I sold him, chained and dressed as a pleasure slave, to the tyrant who had enslaved his homeland. Some may call it cliché, but I call it classic. So, when I see standing here is just your projection. Certainly, it is not safe to appear in the flesh markets in person. especially for someone like me. You see, before I switched to this line of work, I was a humble gardener. I used to grow mandrakes. The Marilith pats her ugly pat on the head. It's a well-known fact that mandrakes grow if you water an ordinary weed with demon blood, or if you plant it in a demon's corpse. The allies, lovers, and masters of those I turned into fertilizer are still searching for me. Thus, I conduct my business remotely. In the same way, when I have slaves to sell, I first show their projections, and only after they're sold do I deliver them to the buyer. The Lich is not going to try to attack him. He has no reason to do so. And besides, we can't do it. There's only one mythic path that is allowed to attack this particular individual. One who finds slavery quite abhorrent. I'm leaving. Jaws of the Jackal. These gauntlets grant a profane vigor effect and a +2 bonus to natural armor to all evil creatures summoned by the wearer of these gauntlets. If the wearer summons a Thanadaemon, they granted a greater profane vigor effect and +4 natural armor bonus to AC. If the wearer summons any good outsider creature, it will attack the wearer. A summoned creature gains a +2 profane bonus on attack rolls, saves, and skill checks, or a +4 profane bonus on attack rolls, saves, and skill checks, immunity, fear effects, and a number of temporary hit points equal to your caster level maximum 20. Not useful for this playthrough, but pretty cool nonetheless. We might have to come back here now that I think about it. I don't think I have enough money to buy all the stuff that I want to buy here. Cambion, who gives you a smarmy bow, looks like he once tried to split in two, then changed his mind. His chest is twice as wide as it should be, and double pupils stare at you from each of his eyes. Every time this freakish creature opens his mouth, an impressive goiter swells on his neck. His voice has an unpleasant croaking quality, as if a giant toad had taken up residence in his throat.
Would you like to buy some fresh flesh? You can call me Raggy. I am at your service.
Who are you? What are you selling?
Everybody calls me Raggy, and the name's just fine by me. I'm the top vendor here at the flesh markets, no matter what the others think. They sell expensive, classy goods, whereas I specialize in rabble and riffraff. My goods cost 10 times less than what the others are selling, but I have 100 times more clients than everyone else. Everybody needs a slave. Cheap, maybe slightly defective, but still a slave. Big shots from the upper city prefer to do business with the others, but so what? The middle city feeds me much better.
Raggy raises his voice for the last part. You notice that the demon standing nearby casts cautious glances at the insolently grinning Cambion. It seems this shabby specimen has some authority here, after all.
Besides, I don't just sell live goods. I sell the stuff that used to belong to these poor fools as well. You'll find some extremely valuable and interesting items among the loot taken during slave raids.
Show me the spoils you've looted. Selling. What's this? Dagger +3. We don't use daggers. We don't need this. We can get rid of March of Terror. And in fact, actually, we'll keep Rebound around. Mantle of Night. Do I want to use this? I might end up using that. Strength 4. This is not useful to me. That's not. Hey, a little bit. All right, now. Witch list. Hexes. Technically, that benefits her, but I'm not using hexes all that often for her, so I'm gonna leave that alone. +2 insight bonus on attack and damage rolls with ranged weapons. Against larger, bigger enemies. That's useful, most definitely. That's not useful. That's not useful. That's not useful. What's this? This cloak of resistance +4 also grants us wear a 30-foot aura, which grants all enraged allies we're not enraged. Ooh, speed, gnome, hooked hammer. If I had ritual, that would be helpful, but it's not. But actually, now we're gonna leave that alone. So in fact, we can sell this. Think about it. We can sell that. All right, and we got everything I want from you. And let's see. I'm looking for slaves for the gladiator fights in the arena. With an odd hacking sound, the Cambion coughs a lump of phlegm into his hand and examines the mucus closely for some time. At last, seemingly satisfied, he carelessly wipes his palm on his clothes. That is disgusting. Wow, that's disgusting.
You need slaves for the arena? Just this Golarion scum. They won't win a single bout, of course, but their blood will grease the blades of the real fighters, and the crowd will have some fun. How does that sound?
Show me your slaves.
I can offer you a shipment of Golarion slaves. They certainly aren't in the best shape. Golarions are notorious for their fragility, but torturing them sure is fun.
As Raggy grins, you spot at least 2 rows of needle-sharp teeth in his mouth. The Golarion slaves are clad in torn rags, their bodies emaciated. Many have wounds and cuts. Their blank indifference to everything happening around them suggests these unfortunates lost any hope of escape long ago. Seizing the moment and deftly spitting at the method in the cage, Raggy nods at him.
If you wish, you can also purchase this little blighter. He won't be of much use, but you can guarantee yourself some time torturing him. He is sharp-tongued and quite resilient. I guarantee you'll spend several interesting and pleasant evenings killing this little freak.
Chuckling, Raggy watches as the Mephit wipes the spit from his face and mutters curses under his breath. The Mephit's voice is angry, but tinged with respect. I'll buy the Golarion slaves. The double pupils flicker with greed. After feigning indecision, Raggy finally states,
15,000 gold coins. I won't accept any less. I can get 15,000 selling those wretches as meat.
Except, Raggy looks at one of the slaves who can barely stand. With a subtle motion, he throws a spell that slits the unfortunate's throat as if he'd used a serrated knife. Raggy spits in disgust at the body on the ground. He doesn't even bother to wipe the splashes of blood from his face.
That one was completely defective. It'd be shameful to offer it to a respectable buyer.
The heavy silence of the hand of the inheritor is almost palpable. It fills the air like the calm before the storm. Then the angel's voice explodes in your head, roaring and furious like a battle horn.
He killed him like an animal. Oh, heaven. I knew I was descending into the depths of evil, but there must be a limit. There must be a limit to it all. If not today, then someday. I will descend into this den of sin to punish the murderers and save their victims.
So, the Lich is actually highly displeased at this as well. Because, of course, part of the reason he's in the Crusade, kick out the demons, protect the Golarions. He understands that slavery is the law of the land here, so he wasn't going to get involved just because they were slaves. But he offered fair coin in order to get all of them. And now the slave master has taken it upon himself to murder one of the slaves that he said he was willing to purchase. So now he's like, you know what, forget it. I'm not giving you my coin. I'm just going to kill you and take the slaves by force. Your slaves are lucky. They're about to see their master choke on his own blood. Out of nowhere, a knife with a wide, jagged blade appears in Raggy's hand. Spinning the knife skillfully with his 2 numerous fingers, he leers at you without fear.
You want to dance?
taking advantage of all the fuss. The method definitely picks the lock of his cage, using his pointed tail as a skeleton key. Once free, it makes an obscene sound at Raggy, winks at you mischievously, and immediately takes off into the air. I've never seen this method again, even if I attempted to purchase him. So I'm not sure what the purpose of this scene is. It seems like, considering that exit, you would have an opportunity to speak with the method again. Or maybe I just haven't picked the right mythic path that would allow me to talk with him again. Not sure, but it's just weird that it just leaves it there. All right.
No time for debates.
Instant enemy. All right. And cloak resistance +3, lesser braces of archery, which gives you a +1 competence bonus on attack rolls, ring of protection, leather armor +3, composite bow +3. So, not earth-shattering equipment, but it's decent. And actually, now that I think about it, what do you have? Nah, you need this. Where is it? You need anything you can get that's going to help you with this attack. You got a +25. What do you get? +30, yeah. Boom, boom. Oh, I keep forgetting you need, yeah, sure. Actually, here you go. You can take this one. You can have that. All right, and you need a upgrade for your bow. Crap, I forgot about that. I shouldn't have sold our other bow. Oh well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Oh, do I have to talk to them? There we go. The slaves stand huddled in a tight circle, knives picked up from the ground, glint in the hands of some. It is almost as if the scent of demon blood has imbued their exhausted bodies with new strength. They are clearly no longer willing to simply watch their lives be bargained away. One of them, a young man with an injured leg, flashes a bloodthirsty grin at you. So, what's next, sir? Should we run, or should we face death here? We won't go back in a cage. We've had enough of this demon filth. Oh, so if you kill the demon, it doesn't even let you send them to the arena. Ooh, yikes, I didn't realize that. And honestly, now, thinking this through, role-playing wise, it makes complete sense that the Lich would send them back to the Nexus as well. Why would he be okay with using the Golarions as slaves? Should have sent the mercs. Oh well, whatever. We'll roll with it. Good. Explain to the slaves how to get to the Nexus. You can take refuge at my camp. Hi, Amadei, bless you. Thank you for standing up for us. We'll never forget your kindness. The ragged slaves huddle in a tight group and hurry toward the exit. They are frightened and tired, but you can see a glimmer of hope and defiance in their eyes. You did as every true Golarion should by saving the people from your home world from slavery. Thanks to people like you, my heart holds no doubts that we will emerge victorious from this struggle. It is what it is.
We do it my way.
All right, this guy's gonna take all my money. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to do a second round for him.
Follow if you dare.
The tall, thin vendor is swathed in a loose black robe. He is not a demon, but it is impossible to determine his race. His expressionless and hairless face is covered in tattoos and looks as if it is made of wax. His eyes are motionless. As you approach, The black figure almost doubles over as he sweeps into a low bow. The vendor moves with a supernatural delicacy and grace impossible for a human. He extends his arms, also covered in tattoos, toward you. The ink on his palms comes to life and forms the words, "Greetings, I am Krebus, vendor of magical lunatics." The voice of the hand sounds contemplative. "I can sense shadows, evil shadows that once served their old master, Virivaxis, whom I fought valiantly but had not the strength to defeat. Beware this one, champion, for he is linked to powers both formidable and cunning." Something inside you awakens and casts a fiery glance at the slaver. You can see the darkness curling under the thin layer of his skin, or rather a shadow resembling darkness, a demon woven of shadows. "What kind of slaves can you offer?" With a slight nod, Krebus points at a group of slaves standing nearby. All of them are completely motionless, their backs unnaturally straight. They seem to be drugged. Their eyes are entirely black without a hint of pupil, and in the depths, tiny blue sparks flicker like stars in the night sky. From time to time, some of the slaves utter something uncanny or barely comprehensible, then fall silent again. Tiny ink glyphs begin to appear rapidly on the slaver's palm, as if drawn by a skilled scribe. "My lunatics. Magical ingredients for ritual sacrifices, dissolved in blood, fermentation finished, distillation finished, deposited into practical self-propelled storage units inside the slaves' bodies. High magical potential. The goods were examined and certified by esteemed Willadus, approved for trading." "I can sense darkness inside them. Not mundane darkness, which is merely the absence of light, but an embodied darkness that begets evil and possesses awareness instead of being emptiness and nothing. What cursed substances did he pump into these unfortunates? Keep an eye on them, for the darkness inside them waits for the right moment to be born into this world." So, I really want to have them and buy them, but in my experience, this whole thing is bugged, or maybe I just don't get it. Because I would buy them, they would come to camp, and then they would do nothing. And I almost feel like at the end of the act, having them in your camp kind of sabotages the group. Like, it never gave me an option to harness the magic that was inside of them. So I don't get that. I don't get what's supposed to be going on with them. And I'm certainly not trying to screw up this playthrough, so we're going to leave them alone. "I'm looking for slaves for the gladiator fights in the arena." The vendor shakes his head. Words appear over his skin. "Magic, art, craft, not slaughter. What have you done to these slaves and why?" Snakes made of letters crawl over Krebus's hands. "They are no longer slaves. They are vessels of magic. Their bodily fluids were drained and replaced by potions and decoctions imbued with energies. Their dried mummies were filled with the dampness of magic, and their dehydrated brains were filled with the mysteries of the universe. Top quality, Nahindran, as they say here in Alan. Who are you and where did you come from?" 3 words appear on the vendor's palms. Krebus, from everywhere. The secretive stranger smiles lifelessly and shrugs. His soft, flowing movements are so smooth as to be almost indiscernible, as if he were not a creature of flesh, but rather of melting wax. The slaver opens his mouth wide, and you see neither teeth nor tongue inside. The ink on his palm forms the words, "I can communicate." "Show me your magic wares." The slaver gives you another low bow. One of his eyes suddenly rolls out of its eye socket. With a neat, gentle movement, Krebus touches the eyeball and returns it to its normal place, and then he points to his wares. Alright, I've got 127,000. And Let's see, what do we have here? Whenever you cast the same spell for the fourth time during the day, it becomes quickened. Lich will definitely appreciate that. This +5 Ghost Touch Quarterstaff allows his wearer to cast illusion school spells as if they were 3 levels higher. Nanio would really appreciate that, but Nanio shouldn't be around much longer, right? Yeah. Well, actually, no, she will be, but that's still too expensive. I'll have to come back for that. Robe of Malice. This is for monks. Whenever the wearer of this ring makes an attack of opportunity, the enemy must pass a 42 saving throw will be knocked down. The ring also grants a +2 competence bonus on attack and damage rolls with two-handed weapons. He would benefit from that. However, scroll. Yeah, here we go. Oh, man, I don't have enough money for any of this crap. All right. So greater quicken is going to be 170k, greater maximize, greater empower. I'm going to need all of that. What's on Holy Shepherd? All summons, no, I'm good. Is this rest of this? All scrolls, right? All scrolls, yeah, all scrolls. Yep, bunch of scrolls. Okay. Circle back for the other one. Yeah, we'll take this for now. Don't have enough money for that. Don't have enough money for any of the other stuff that we wanted. We'll have to come back for the rest. Okay. No problem. More money is on the way. You. This is crap, right? Yeah, it's crap. There we go. That's much better. And you. What's this? Freedom? Yeah, freedom. Anybody can take that. Sure. Yeah, you can have it. You. I forgot. Give you this. You can take that if you want. Oh, no. You already got something that's cool. All right. We'll come back. And I forgot. Let's talk to the guy in the middle. I actually didn't need to wait. I wanted to talk to everybody else first because if you're going to wipe out the slave camp, then it's definitely in your interest to kill everybody else before you kill this guy. Otherwise, they'll get involved. But the Lich is not going to kill him. The Lich knows that slavery is the law of the land, and he's going to abide by that. So as long as this guy doesn't piss him off, things will be fine. A demon who looks like a ball of lumpy, melting flesh hovers in the air. He clenches a whip in his hand. The demon emanates an aura of confidence and authority. He snorts sternly at a skinny tiefling standing nearby, whose eyes are skillfully sewn shut with black silk thread, studded with diamond chips. The demon mutters something incomprehensible to you. The tiefling speaks to you in a soft voice devoid of emotion. Master Sarzaksys welcomes you to the flesh markets, visitor from another plane. He noticed right away that you are a person of means, though he himself has no interest in doing business with you. Your presence benefits the flesh markets, so Master Sarzaksys is prepared to spare you some of his time. This slave will interpret his words for you, for he loathes speaking in Indian language, except the one he used in his homeworld. The searcher's hideous face is marked with desperation. Overcoming his pride, he reaches out to you with a gnarled hand, beseeching your help with this humiliating gesture. I'm looking for slaves for the gladiator fights in the arena. Master Sarzaksys regrets that he must refuse you. He supplies gladiators exclusively to the Hindrian League, maintaining the high quality of its fighters. Master Sarzaksys suggests you speak with other vendors whose goods are not as exclusive, but far more affordable. Why did Hepzibah and Chimera buy your slaves? Lady Hepzibah is extremely secretive. No one knows what she's up to, and no one wants to ask unnecessary questions because Lady Hepzibah has already proven she is quite powerful. Stooping around her business can be dangerous. When Lady Chimera brings Lady Hepzibah with her and says she needs stupid but strong slaves, Master Sarzaksys never asks questions and does not hold a grudge for the meatball nickname. Master Sarzaksys is very wise and shows restraint. One of the demon guards clearly grows interested in the conversation and unconsciously leans forward. Sarzaksys whips him across the muzzle with a lightning fast blow. The demon's head explodes like a watermelon dropped from a great height. The interpreter comments on the execution with indifference. Master Sarzaksys would like to remind everyone that unnecessary curiosity can be very harmful for servants, especially if it is curiosity regarding the master's business. Who are you, demon? The demon answers with a lengthy barking tirade as the interpreter listens carefully to every grunt. Master Sarzaksys comes from a remote corner of the abyss, extremely far from these parts. Practically no one in all Island Shinra has heard of this magnificent place that is Master Sarzaksys' homeland. He would happily return there because that place is superior to all other realms of the abyss. However, Master Sarzaksys found himself fascinated with the concept of slavery. In his homeland, the idea of owning other sentient beings does not exist. The common practice there is to kill anyone who is not like you. Master Sarzaksys has spent a lot of time studying the sophisticated art of slaveholding and has become the most respected slave trader in the whole of Island Shinra. Lawful. Not everyone approves of slavery on Golarion, but I respect your customs. Listening intently to the pleased hoots of his master, the tiefling adds a trifle of approval to his monotonous speech. Master Sarzaksys is pleasantly surprised. Many of your world's inhabitants hold a strange prejudice against slavery. Master Sarzaksys wishes you the favor of the demon lord you serve. I appreciate your kind words. No, say nothing. Master Sarzaksys would like to remind you that he is an extremely busy person. Do you have any other questions for him? I'd like to know more about the flesh markets. He's not going to address the tiefling because he already understands the system. The tiefling is the demon's slave, and trying to address him directly would be disrespectful. I'd like to know more about the slave markets. Master Sarzaksys finds your curiosity commendable. He is willing to outline the basic principles of the flesh markets, and the tiefling falls silent for a while, listening carefully to the demon's croaking. Then he finds the correct word. It's hierarchy. He is also willing to explain the intricacies of the highly respected occupation of slaver. It would take a lot of effort to find a place more disgusting than this one, even here in the abyss. In the old days, my warriors and I broke many slave collars and let countless slaves out of the abyss. What is this place? This place is called the Flesh Markets because here one can buy living and healthy flesh. Slaves for housekeeping, slaves for carnal pleasures, fighting slaves, sacrificial slaves, slaves of an edible nature. Every day, hundreds of slaves are shipped here and hundreds of customers come to buy them. Where do you get your slaves? The majority of the slaves are captives seized during raids of other planes. Master Sarzaksys is happy to inform you that Golarion is one of our main supply channels. The Abyss itself supplies a fair share of slaves as well. Demons have no prejudice against enslaving their kin. Demonic slaves are more hard-wearing and last longer than slaves from most other planes. Who runs the flesh markets? Master Sarzaksys has the honor of being the informal head of the flesh markets because he is the main supplier to the upper city. All the individuals who dared challenge Master Sarzaksys' primacy renounced their false claims, became his slaves, and now proudly wear his personal insignia, carved into their faces with cold iron. With a demanding crack of the whip, Sarzaksys calls one of the demons standing nearby. The latter kneels hastily, obediently hides his eyes, and extends his hand palm up. Sarzaksys seems satisfied with this display of obedience, so he lets the demon go by whipping him lightly over the shoulders and leaving a ruby-red welt on his skin. As you may have noticed, Master Sarzaksys' authority here in the flesh markets is absolute. I see. The slave interprets his master's abrupt snort without words, giving you a short bow. Point at the searcher. Sell me that dretch. Sarzaksys begins to snort, spraying saliva. He babbles quickly, which causes short, uncertain pauses in the slave's speech. This stretch, like the other demons in this shipment, is set aside for Lady Hepzibah. Without a doubt, this lazy waste of flesh, called today in the lower city, will never prove to be a useful worker, but he still belongs to his new mistress. She is a very influential person. Therefore, trying to deceive her would be disrespectful and dangerous, and Master Sarzaksys would never commit such a foolish act. He resents your suggestion that he is capable of doing anything of the kind. Master Sarzaksys is insulted and outraged. There are not many vices that can surpass the greed of demons, but pride is one of them. Imagine what tremendous power it has when the two are combined. As disgusting as it is for me to give this advice, listen to me. If this scoundrel feels insulted, offer him gold, not as part of the deal, but rather as compensation for the insult and as recognition of his high status. Perhaps gold can compensate for the insult I've inflicted? The demon's grumbling abates slightly as a flicker of greed appears in his eyes. Master Sarzaksys finds your idea very reasonable. He kindly agrees to accept the sum of 30,000 gold coins to atone for the insult you've inflicted. Taking into account your unfamiliarity with local customs, Master Sarzaksys will not demand your hand or eye in recompense. For his part, Master Sarzaksys considers it undesirable to keep this dretch in his stock, for he was the cause of your disagreement. As a gesture of reconciliation, he would like to immediately release him and drive him out, so this unpleasant incident might be considered settled and forgotten. Pay 30,000 gold coins. Let's leave all grievances and misunderstandings behind. The tiefling translates Sarzaksys' satisfied snort, though it is wholly unnecessary. You understand its meaning perfectly well. Master Sarzaksys congratulates you on a successful purchase. The dretch approaches you, glancing cautiously around. He mumbles in a quiet voice so that only you can hear his words. I have no idea why Hepzibah needs slaves, but from what I've heard, they don't live long. Becoming her property is a death sentence, no doubt about it. Meaning you saved me. So I guess The searcher appears confused. It seems this miscreation is not accustomed to being shown mercy and simply doesn't know how to express his thanks. How were you captured? I've been wandering the lower city, searching for something. Never you mind what. I mean, that's not what I meant to say. It's a personal matter. Yeah, that's the right way to put it. So I was roaming around, chatting with all and sundry, when the slave hunters appeared and started chasing us. They threw those who survived in a cage and brought us here. This is a typical occurrence in the abyss. Social dynamics is called. The strong enslave the weak. What will you do now? With a gloomy glance at you, the searcher gives a vague answer. I'll continue my search, I will. It won't be easy, but I'll prove to her that I'm smarter and wilier than she thinks. The dretch's expression is determined, even severe. What are you looking for? The dretch throws a suspicious glance at you. Don't ask. It's none of your business. Farewell. The searcher hesitates, nervously scratching the back of his neck. He repeatedly opens his mouth to say something, but nothing comes out. Finally, he starts to mumble incoherently. You. Just be careful. That's what I'm saying. With a martyr's sigh, the searcher turns around, relieved to lose himself once again in Alan Shimmer's warren of alleyways. All right.
I do what I must.
That. A tough-looking demon with a rough, cruel face and the hands of a seasoned warrior greets you with a grin. Looking to buy slaves, eh? Me? I've just sold off the shipment I captured during the last raid. I am Kerz, captain of the bloody bitch. Who are you? The demon stares at you in disbelief, then bursts into laughter. Who am I? I'm Kerz, known by some as Kerz Got Stabbed, captain of the legendary Bloody Bitch. I'm the most famous damn pirate in the Midnight Isles. You must be a landlubber who's never set foot aboard an airship if you haven't heard of me. Do you know Milara? That nut job? Her entire crew must be whips and weaklings if they haven't slit such a leader's throat or fed her to Ishir's beast yet. You can't help but notice that, despite Kerz's dramatic bravado, a spark of fear gleams in his eyes. Tell me more about being a pirate. What exactly do you want to know? The life of a pirate ship captain consists of 4 things: his vessel, his crew, his experience, and Pazuzu's patronage, of course. You already have wings of your own. Why do you need a flying ship? Kerz eyes you with suspicion, as if searching for signs of mockery in your face. Sure. And what do you propose I do with all the loot? Carry it on my back? What about the slaves we tuck into the cargo hold? The ship is a big flying treasure chest, and it also provides a fair amount of cover from arrows and spells that rain down on us during boardings. Tell me about your vessel. Kerz grins proudly. You'll recognize my bloody bitch right away by the huge skull decorating her prow. We secured that trophy near Vazglar, and there was a great fight for it. A few other captains want to lay their hands on it as well. Aside from the skull, I've done good work on the bloody bitch. You can't find a better attack vessel. Her broadside can take a dragon strike, her 3/4 sails can catch any wind, and her ballista don't rely on lousy spears, only alchemical fire. What kind of crew do you have on board? Toughest rogues and cutthroats you could ever want. They're my hand-picked collection, each one as bad as the next. They're the most notorious rabble, the most infamous scoundrels you could ever find in the abyss. They'd sell their own mothers into slavery for a chip copper. Turn on me? Never. Nobody else could land them a better deal than I can. If they ditch me, they wouldn't make it 3 steps before taking a knife in the back. So they've got no choice but to follow me until the end. So, how many ships have you plundered? Puffing out his chest a little, the demon offers a fanged, leering grin, then answers with all the cutthroat swagger he can muster. The bloody bitch is well known in the Midnight Isles, and her black sail sows terror wherever she goes. I can count how many broadsides I've sent to Dagon. I was leading the charge, saber in hand, back in the days when Alexia was flashing her bare tits in the skies over Alan Shinra, and when Zephorian, that old rapscallion, ruled the city. As for loot, the treasures that have passed through my hands, and I spit them all on booze. Kerz beams with pride at this declaration. Tell me a thrilling tale. Pirate grins. You like gory stories, eh? Fine. Once, we were floating by Megorg when our lookout spotted the wreckage of a ship caught in a hurricane. So, we decided to search for cargo, but instead, we only found a sailor who was clutching at the wreckage. We fished him out, brought him to his senses, hung him up on the mast, and questioned him properly. Our ship's cook knows how to loosen tongues with his knife. Long story short, the port side spilled that he was a pirate himself. His ship had set sail from one of Aleer's deserted islands, where they hid part of their spoils. We smelled a windfall, so we rushed to Aleer. But Aleer, that place isn't for the faint-hearted. Predatory vines, carnivorous flowers that breathe out clouds of poisonous pollen, and walking bushes that surrounded you, pounce on you, sting you with thorns until you die. Oh, and did I mention toxic springs, or the flies that crawl into your ears while you sleep and lay their eggs inside your brain, driving you insane? All in all, the place was a nightmare, and we found ourselves right in the middle of it all. 3 times our prisoner told us where to check for the stash. Each time we dug, but all we found was dirt and bones. On the 3rd attempt, that damned island had already wiped out half the crew. We realized that asshole was playing us, so we gutted him. You know what we saw then? All his entrails were covered with whitish mold and overgrown with some spunky fungus. His heart, his guts, his brain, the gunk was everywhere. According to our ship's dock, that fungus controlled every one of the sailor's steps. He got infected on Aleer, then he left the island to lure in fresh fodder for the plants. We fled as fast as we could before a long, long time. I couldn't believe those damn weeds got so smart they were able to trick us. You mention Pazuzu quite often. You worship him. Sure I do. Only total idiots don't worship the Demon Lord of the Sky and winged creatures. Well, at least if we're talking about aeronauts. All the storms, wind currents, and beasts who fed on those currents, they all bend to his will. That's why I bombard Lord Pazuzu with my prayers as often as I can. I have no more questions. You asked too many already, stranger. I have to go. May Pazuzu fill yourselves with wind, stranger, but no more than mine. Awesome. Cool stuff, and I think we've been here long enough. We'll go to this corner after we make a quick trip over here first. As you leave the slave market, Sosiel turns and stands motionless, staring at the crowd with a look of anguish on his face. His lips tremble, and tears stream down his cheeks. Sosiel, what's the matter with you? The cleric turns away from you, choking back tears. Finally gathering his strength, he whispers, I must confess. Help me, please. Of course I listen. What happened? This place provokes blasphemous, sacrilegious thoughts, and I don't know how to cope with them. I serve the goddess of beauty, but look at what lies behind us. Look at those people and those demons. Then show me a single spark of beauty amidst the evil and endless suffering. How can I enjoy beauty in a world where such an ugly place exists? The first time this blasphemous thought occurred to me was when we were marching toward Dresden and found those ghouls eating our soldiers alive at the Lost Chapel. I thought it as I spoke to them, as I listened to their confessions, healed them, helped them forget the horrors they had endured. The more time I spent convincing the soldiers that there was more to this world than evil and violence, the less I believed it myself. May Shellen forgive me these sacrilegious thoughts, but I do not know how I can continue to believe in beauty. I no longer understand what beauty is. If I were to see the most exquisite painting in the world, I think I would still see only the horrors of the abyss in it. I've never had this conversation before. I wonder if they added this recently or if I'm only seeing it because we're in a relationship. Fascinating. Okay, let's see what the options are. Okay. We're going to take the soft option. There is beauty in you, in your soul, in your paintings, and you brought it with you to the abyss. Perhaps, but ever since we came here, my brush hasn't wanted to touch the canvas. Even worse, this place seems to leach every last drop of kindness and beauty from my soul. Everything that makes life worth living, even the memories of the best moments of my life are fading. I feel like I'm wandering in the middle of a desert. There's still some water in my flask, but how long will it last? I'm sure you're not the first servant of Shellen to have such thoughts. What would your teachers in the church say to you? They say there is beauty in everything, you just need to find it. I consoled myself with this thought in the Worldwound. I searched the ruined landscapes for traces of beauty, annihilated by the abyssal armies. I tried to awaken the wounded to the beauty in their souls, a beauty that had survived torment. But in the abyss, these words ring hollow. What beauty can you find in this? The cleric gestures at the street you're standing in. Perhaps you can find solace in the beauty of creation itself. The abyss is the design of evil, but what if it also has a place in the harmony of the universe? Sosiel gives you a wry grin. It's like being back in a theology lecture. This argument sounded very convincing then. In that sunlit, cozy classroom decorated with flowers, it was so easy to discuss the supreme beauty of creation, found even at the bottom of the abyss. I'm quoting my teacher here. Yet here I am in the abyss, and the beauty of the universe is nowhere to be seen. Nowhere. The cleric shouts the last few words with uncharacteristic anger. Philosophers and theologians have been arguing over this for centuries. Perhaps these questions have no answers. If I actually, you know what? No. The Lich definitely sees some beauty here. So actually, is Alan Shimmer truly so ugly? I think it quite a scenic place. This is not beauty, but an evil parody of it. These architectural excesses are like silver filigree on implements of torture. Why are you all the way back over there? Anyway, they don't make this place, this terrible place, more beautiful, but only emphasize its horror and abomination. Philosophers and theologians have been arguing over this for centuries. Perhaps these questions have no answers. There are answers. Volumes and volumes of books full of answers. I've read them. And those answers are useless when you find yourself face to face with a blasphemous ugliness that negates the very possibility of beauty. Sosiel looks you in the eye, then hides his face in his hands. Oh, what am I saying? I'm a cleric. I must be stronger than these sinful thoughts. I must be infallible. I must help others overcome their doubts instead of being torn by doubts myself, let alone poisoning others with my blasphemy. Forgive me for sharing this vile sacrilege with you. I shouldn't have. I had no right. Infallible? Who do you think you are? The avatar of Shelling? You're mortal. You're allowed to be weak sometimes. Allowed to be weak? He blinks in surprise. But what about my duties as a cleric? What right do I have? Cutting himself off mid-sentence, Sosiel bites his lip. After a short pause, he says, "You're right. That was my pride speaking. This is the abyss, and I am but a mortal. It's only natural that I feel frightened and in pain. I saw myself as an angel who could dispel the darkness with a single beat of his wings, and then I fell into despair when it didn't happen. I hope my nonsensical babbling didn't give you a headache, but I am truly grateful you heard me out. I already feel better." He glances around Alan Shinra once more. A vile place. But that's why we're here, to fight it. Let's go. We're stronger together. We will persevere. Yeah, definitely never saw that before. That was cool. The islands and rocks floating in the air are clearly flying as a result of someone's crazy magic. What is... That's Professor Snape. I hate... Oh, crap! I forgot. You know what? We can take this off. What does it do? Get 1x. Yeah, no. That's not going to work anymore. Not with the boots I have.
I am helpful, am I not?
Yes.
I am helpful, am I not?
Okay. I think that's enough for one day. Hope all of you enjoyed the video today. If you did, please leave me a like down below. Share this content and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.